Hey, what's up, everyone? Got another video for you on video game market report. Just a lot of different videos you may know of, video games that may spark some memory from your childhood, and just looking at some various different genres, different systems, and kind of a fun one at the end that I found just this morning and did a little bit of research on it. Looked up a couple YouTube videos. Um, it's one of those like one-off type of things, but definitely something to look forward to and to look at in the video game console collecting market. And we'll keep doing these videos, man. I do enjoy doing them. Getting more into video game collecting versus doing comic book collecting. It's a little bit more one-offs, and I'm a little more picky with it, so it's a lot more enjoyable to find things that I actually want to collect versus flip. There are a couple, I guess, flip suggestions in this report as well. Always trying to pay for the hobby, of course, but be cautious. It's really, I think, the one thing to take into account with video game collecting is it's tougher to get those high grades, just because it's sealed and it looks pretty cool. There's other things that may affect the grade of a particular game that you may not see with the blind eye. So it's tough. I think the market's going to kind of see that moving forward. That your 9.4s, 9.96s in comic books are, it's not a good comparison with video games, because even if it's sealed, again, it's hard to get a 9.8 or, I mean, I've seen 9.9s in some games, but like, yeah, it's those are near perfect, unflawed. Like, I don't even know if they touched human hands. And also, just with the onset of video games being more downloaded versus physical copies. I think last year, 2023, there was a statistic, might have even been before that. I believe 89% of all video games were downloaded, and that number is just going to get bigger and bigger to eventually, maybe one day, it might be 100% downloaded. Who knows? But yeah, if you guys do enjoy this video, the other market reports that I do, or any of the shows that we do on this network, please hit that like button, tell your friends, subscribe, um, put some suggestions in the comments too. I may give away a strategy guide or two if we get enough comments. And without further ado, let's get into the presentation. So again, this is for our market report for June 6th, 2024. Just kind of went through a bunch of different games that I've remember getting when I was a kid, and just ones that I remember other people really enjoying or talking about in the past. I don't think any of these games have been like revamped or reissued. So, and again, like, what's really cool about these video games is like the art's is really rich and flavorful. And yeah, I didn't have any like games that were from, I guess, like minimum consoles or like consoles that were out for a limited amount of time. So I do apologize. This is pretty PlayStation heavy, but I wanted to get into kind of the PS2, PS3 games. Excuse me. And yeah, so if you're a Nintendo fan, I'm sorry. First off, Godzilla. I was just thinking about this game because I remember seeing this actually in Toys R Us near my house back in the day. And, with all the Godzilla fandom, it doing so well in the movie theaters and the Apple TV series, I was curious, man. I wonder if that Godzilla game is like, worth anything. And sure enough, man, it is. $200 for a near mint on this one. There's a CIB asking for $299, which I thought was odd, but nonetheless, like, yeah, if you get the seal for $200, that's kind of the going price from what I saw on Ask It Buy It Nows. I think I did see one for like 153, but don't quote me on that. I just love the cover, man. It's like I don't know about the game playability of this, but the cover itself, it's beautiful. It's got the Japanese characters on the side and the Godzilla. And Godzilla, it looks like he's actually puking, but I think he's shooting his blue fireball deal or whatever. But yeah, if you're a Godzilla collector, pair this up with the movie, pair this up with the comic book, pair this up with the toy. That's a great addition to your Godzilla collection. And for $200, it's a little steep for my taste, just because I'm not a Godzilla fan. But if you are, just know that that's what the going price is for right now. And on to the next one. So, man, I remember this game when I was a kid. I think I played this in college, I want to say, maybe a little bit in high school. But Yeah, talk about crossing genres with like music and video games. EA games, EA was like on a trajectory like it is not so much today, but they've always been kind of the forefront for like the one of the best studios out there. And this was like one of the funnest, like weirdest games to ever play. I like I said, I remember playing this game and like I think I was Exhibit because uh I thought Exhibit was tight. And so you basically essentially fight as these characters. I can't remember if there's a storyline or not, but not characters, but these artists. And I think what's cool is like it's weird that Snoop was able to fight on the Def Jam Fight for New York deal because he's a West Coast rapper. I don't know what his contractual obligations were that allowed him to play this or to be on the video game, but nonetheless, like imagine me and Snoop Dogg and fighting Ghostface Killer or Ice T or Exhibit. Man, this cracks me up. $100 for a CIB. I mean, I think it'd be cool to get this game and then maybe like a Source magazine or XXL magazine and get that graded and pair them up. I think it'd be really hard, but pretty cool to get like a signed version of this and get it graded by CGC, JSA, what have you. A sealed 9.6 went for 350, which I think this game was more than likely highly printed just because it's Electronic Arts and they do a really good job of like pushing their games or, if they're going to do a game. And I gotta imagine with all these different faces and artists on this game that they wanted to make as much money as possible. And you probably had to pay Def Jam or these artists like quite a bit of money. So I can't say it's rare, but the supply and demand and the dollar amount are out there for it. I can imagine some kid was like selling this game like, for like $5 when they were trying to get rid of like stuff back when selling video games to your local store was like kind of the cool thing to do. But nonetheless, Def Jam Fight Night for New York, pretty cool stuff and definitely brings me back. This was a cool one. I remember watching this movie. A bunch of my fraternity brothers really liked this movie. I never watched it, and that's definitely a cult classic. The Warriors, a 9 or a PS2 recently this past week went for $500, and that was with bits. So I didn't look at the actual condition of the game. It's pretty rare from what I could find, or it's a Rockstar game, video game. But yeah, from the listings I saw on eBay, it seems to be a pretty rare game. $500 for a sealed PS2, but a 9.0 earlier this month went for $156, which is tough. So I gotta imagine that $500 PS2 has to be like clear, freaking packaging. Corners are sealed really well. I'd like to take a look at that 9.0 and see why it went for a 9.0. But yeah, I gotta imagine this is a pretty rare game just because it was like, I don't know a lot of people that knew about the Warriors when PS2 came out. I knew about it just because of college posters, but like really like this is a cult classic movie turned into video game, so it's got to be tough to sell. So, but yeah, the data is out there, man. People want this video game for some reason, and yeah, on to the next. I went Xbox this way, and Max Payne. I just thought of like the movie, and there was a movie that came out a while back, right? Let me actually look that up real quick. I think was it Mark Wahlberg on it? Oh yeah, 2008. Yeah, Marky Mark was. Yeah, there you go. Marky Mark, Max Payne. I never saw the movie, but I know the game was really popular. Xbox is kind of a funny system to collect video games in because I know it's the number 2 system out there, right? Arguably. I mean, I guess people could say Nintendo is too, but I I like this for a long-term nostalgia. I haven't seen any graded copies sold lately for this, but $100 for a sealed Xbox version of this, which I think is pretty healthy. It shows you that there's still a love for the genre or for the medium, and for sealed Xbox game, that's pretty high. I gotta do more. I gotta look up more data on Xbox games, but PlayStation is the kind of the way to go when it comes to collecting video games, and I would argue that Switches as well. But nonetheless, $100 for a sealed version Xbox. Max Payne from Rockstar Video Games, another Rockstar video game on the list. And we're about 10 minutes into the show. So if you are enjoying these shows, I'll keep doing them. I think the last episode we didn't get quite the amount of traction I wish it would have gotten, but nonetheless, hit that like button. Help me give me some inspiration to do these videos, keep them going every week. I'll keep doing them. I do enjoy doing them, so it's not like it's a labor of love, if you will. But yeah, I'll just keep doing them if you guys support me. All right, next up, I thought this was really cool. So if you're a Rock Band fan, if you remember getting, staying up for like 4 hours trying to play this game and try and get to the next level, and it was one of those games where like you couldn't play by yourself. You had to get together with a group of people. I remember my sisters and my brother-in-law, we'd play this game, and one person would like, we'd have like our one song that would, we'd kill it, right? And that would take you to the next level. Rock Band Special Edition. I never would have thought that this would go for $600. That's like the amount of a console, essentially. But man, I do get it. I do get the fact that this was like a very beloved video game, and all that. 300 to $600 for a sealed copy, depending on what day or what offer you're making. I saw a lot of versions in Australia, which I thought was kind of odd, that were sealed. So maybe a boat crashed in Australia and there's a bunch of sealed Rock Band special editions out there. I don't know. But yeah, man, I think this, it's funny. If you go to like a thrift store or something and you find a Rock Band guitar for like $20, that could flip really easy for like three figures, $100 or so. And it's not like older guys like me buying them. It's younger Gen Zers that are buying this game, which I think is so weird to me, but pretty cool too at the same time. And there's special editions of different guitars too, which I haven't dove into, but that'd be pretty cool to look into as well. Nonetheless, Rock Band Special Edition, go for it. This is my flip of the week. I thought this was kind of cool because I think the art's really good. There's a bunch of stickers on this guy. Demon Souls PS3, a 9.4 sold for $200. I saw a sealed go for $122.50, but I swear that was kind of an off sale. I feel like if you get this for $80 in a sealed, and if you get a 9.4 or higher, I mean, that's, do the calculation, that's like $100 to $70, $70 to $100 in profit that you'll make after eBay fees. There is a special edition that goes for a lot more, but I know this is a beloved franchise. I never played the game itself. I just love the cover, man. I mean, imagine like if you're really into this game and you're like, oh, dude, I remember that art. I remember all that stuff. I remember that, that sealed kind of look. I would love to have that for $200 in a 9.4, and that's a good grade for a PS3 game in my opinion. Demon Souls PS3, $122.50 for a sealed one. I think that's kind of tough. I'd probably offer about $70 to $80 if I'm trying to flip it. But if you are a collector of this game, that's how much it's going for. So if you don't care about that, maybe get a graded version and just have it display better. This was another weird one, Pillars of Eternity. Again, this is another flip candidate for you flippers out there. I saw a sealed go for $45, but I feel like this version, because the regular version sealed graded 9.6 goes for like $120. I feel like you could get $200 to $300 for this if you get a high grade. Again, $45. That's essentially like the cost it had back when this game originally came out. I don't know a lot about the game itself, so that might be kind of it's very, very niche. However, $45 for a PS4 sealed game, I think, is pretty good. Again, it's like the price amount, so can't be mad at that. It could be a great flip opportunity for you if you are trying to figure out a flip candidate for the week. But nonetheless, Pillars of Eternity, the complete edition. There's two different versions. You want this one. A goodie, old school goodness, PS1 goodness, if you will. This is Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. I feel like this was like one of those like PS1 games that had a pretty decent following that just kind of continued throughout all the different PlayStations. I never played this game, but I had friends that used to play this. It came out from Ito Studios, which I remember being a pretty high quality studio. They put out some pretty good stuff, and this was like kind of their FF7 of Squaresoft. It's kind of like their Final Fantasy 7. It's a PS1 game, so this definitely brings back memories for me. I remember when PlayStation came out, back in the day when you were getting Super Nintendo or Nintendo games, you had a little ticket and you would go to the counter, give the guy the ticket, and he would come out this secret, beautiful room and bring out like your game or your console or whatever. And it was like I miss that feeling. I haven't had that feeling. I don't think I've ever had that feeling ever again. The excitement and kind of the anticipation of a game coming from this magical room in the back from, some Toys R Us representative or whatever. Well, when PlayStation came out, the security system was a lot different. So they didn't have a back room, which essentially meant you would just go to like the counter, pick up the game in this plastic case. And I mean, I think they still do this. Now it's like everything's behind the counter anyway, so it's a little different now. But so it's kind of reverted back to the old system. But they'd have these like games in these plastic kind of security cases. I think they still have it some places, but oh yeah, I mean they still have it nowadays. But like that, what my point is this Legacy of Kain. I remember this being like the first one I saw in one of those like plastic cases, and I thought it was so future. Anyway, a little nostalgia for me, I think. But thinking back on that kind of like presentation, that could probably affect a lot of games that were sealed in that fashion. However, now that I think about it, they probably didn't make it out of the cases if they were being sold sealed now. Anyway, $3.95 for a 9.6 seal, which I thought was really cheap, especially for a PlayStation 1 game. These again, like they went through a lot of hands, and this was a very popular game. I think it's pretty highly printed. 124.99 for a sealed copy. I don't think was bad either. Again, I don't know what the condition is. I can really take a look at it. It's tough to buy sealed games online. You really have to ask for a lot of pictures. But what I thought was cool about this is like there's a comic book as well. Excuse me. Wow. And let's take a look at that real quick. We got some time. I can see. Kain comic. So it doesn't go for a ton. It's Top Cow. Wow, that's kind of cool. 2004. I saw a 9.8 sell. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. There's a figure. So yeah, this is the sale I saw from 1999. So that's pretty old. 9.8 went for 239.99. So that's pretty cool. Maybe, hey man, maybe you could find this comic for pretty cheap and then grade the game and the comic together and sell it as a lot. Who knows? But yeah, I thought the data was pretty good on this for an older game, for a game that's pretty well known with some other things tied to it as well. I don't know the option news about this. I'm not trying to play the option game. But Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, PS1. And last but not least, a very fascinating, odd kind of produced rarity, but still pretty cool, I thought. The Crood's Nintendo Switch Comcast Limited Edition. So there's only 60 total in the world. Supposedly it's the rarest Switch ever. This recently sold for 20 to 30,000 on eBay. Now, take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if it's first to market. I don't know if it's a real sale. I didn't reach out to the seller or anything like that. But like, holy cow, this is the second like exclusive console that I found in the past week or so, and this one was a little tougher to. Well, I wouldn't say it was tougher. The ability to get this console was more made out to the public than the previous Spider-Man console I talked about last week. If you don't know that video, check out my video game market report videos. And again, hit that like button for me. Subscribe, tell all your friends about this, and I'll keep doing these videos. But yeah, this is from the Future of Awesome tour. So essentially, you had to, I think, play like a demo or like some type of virtual game for testing, and Comcast, NBC, Universal, whatever, they paid you to, or they if you did end up doing this virtual Future of Awesome tour deal, you could enter a drawing to win this game or this console. And it's Croods, which isn't like a huge like kind of genre, but I think if you're a Nintendo collector, you want this. The one thing I don't like about this console is that I don't have a picture of it, but I didn't really need one. The box itself doesn't have any like special Croods art on it. It just looks like a regular Nintendo Switch box. So if you were going to seal it, and get it graded, it's not gonna present very well. You have to present it this way. It came with this congratulations postcard, and I mean, there's not really much to it, but the fact that there's only 60 in the world, I think, adds to the relatability or collectability of the console. So yeah, so that's my last market report for this week. And yeah, again, thanks everyone for your support on these guys. I'm trying to dive more into the video game segment and market and kind of talk more about that. So I do appreciate everyone's support though, for coming out and enjoying the show. And again, I really do appreciate you guys clicking that like button, subscribing. We're at 655 as of this morning, so I guess people like us a little bit. And have a great end to your week. Happy Thursday, I believe it is. And we'll see you next time. Take care.